Let me begin this conversation with Sharad Kohli. Sharad, I want to understand from you that while there are significant projections of increased bilateral trade and GDP growth through this FTA, in your assessment, what could be the most critical implementation challenges, Sharad, for both India and the UK in realizing some of these very ambitious economic benefits that we've promised?
Good evening, Devika, and good evening to my fellow panelists and NewsX viewers. Well, you would understand that it is the duty of the two heads of state or the governments to finalize a deal and make you a schedule of the duties to be charged or the tariffs to be charged. At the end of the day, it's all about business. It's all about corporates. It's all about exporters. It's all about importers. And you should not forget, this is about demand and supply. How much of Rolls-Royce we need here, how many of Jaguar Land Rovers we need here, how much of Aston Martins we need here, and how much of Indian textile, women's wear, and then, I was finding something interesting about ladies' cosmetics, Charlotte Tilbury, the fans of NARS, Joe Maloney, the women who use these cosmetic products from UK and used to find them expensive, you can probably have them here at within your budget. But see, so it's a factor of demand and supply. So how this culminates on ground, only time will tell. And we should not forget that the growth rate between the two nations is miles apart at this point of time. When I say miles apart, UK is growing at about barely 1%. India is galloping at 6.5% to 7%. Look at our population, 7 crore versus 142 crores. This is again, 5% of the population of India is the population of the UK. It took 4 prime ministers. So the people, who are cribbing about the India-US deal, notwithstanding the Donald Trump, turmoil caused across the world because of the tariffs, but it took 4 prime ministers of UK for this deal to culminate. And you spoke about something very important. You said, how will this look on the ground? How will this culminate to ground reality? The fact of the matter is, this deal needs to go through the UK Parliament yet. It's not then from tomorrow we can start using Charlotte Tilbury and they can start using our textiles, footwear, leather, marine products, and so on. So it needs to be ratified by the UK Parliament. So there's a bit of a political process, legislative process, which needs to be completed yet. So this may take a few weeks. Sometimes these processes also take a few months. But the heads of state and the political establishment of the two countries have done their job. A base has been set, and we are heading in that direction. I consider this, when we talk of FTAs, Devika, the free trade agreements, it's not actually free. A lot of people probably imagine that free trade agreement is that everything is going to be free, duty free, moving in and out. It's like a duty free shop open on both the countries. Go and buy anything. There's no duty. It's never like that. But having analyzed free trade agreements of dozens of countries over my 3.5 decades of career, I found this is one of those deals which comes as close to being free as possible. This is when I went through the whole schedule of, and you were reading in your report as well, but if you go through in finer details, this is as close to free as it can be. And I feel, now the obvious question is, who gains more? India or the UK? UK gains in its own way. So I think that's a bad question to ask, because UK, as I said, is 5% of Indian population. If Prime Minister Keir Starmer says that 2,200 jobs will be created, 4.8 billion pounds of GDP would be added, 6 billion pounds of investment would be added. Well, these numbers in India may be many times X. When I say X, it could be many times, and the number of jobs, like for example, I can give you an example. Tirupur, a textile hub in India in South, that was a lot of factories because of the tariffs, competition from Bangladesh, Vietnam, China, and other places, they were shut down. I think with UK opening the gates, you will find these women coming back to the factories. I spoke about the women who use NARS, who use Joe Maloney, who use Charlotte Tilbury. But here are the women who are working with these textile units who had lost their jobs for various reasons, not just because of UK, I would say, but a lot of them will get the jobs back. So I think the impact in India will be multifold. Of course, Prime Minister Keir Starmer was in a position to probably quantify the benefit UK is getting. Well, India's benefit, will be quantified as things culminate to ground, but I'm sure it's going to be many times more. Having said that, Devika, I would also love to see we've education, we've got defense, we've got chemicals, pharmaceuticals. There is one more FTA I would have loved to see here. That is called Fugitives Trade Agreement. When it comes to Vijay Mallya, when it comes to Modi's, the two Modi, Nirav Modi and Lalit Modi, I would be happy to see that UK should also ensure it doesn't become a place which harbors such fugitives while they enjoy a luxurious life.
Yes.
So I think that is another thing I would have loved to see. I'm sure it must have come up in discussions. Probably it'll be out in public domain soon. But I would love to see this kind of FTA, a fugitives trade agreement is the name I've given to it, Devika.
Okay.